Alright, man, we're gonna stop it right there, man. Let's get to the schmiggity smoke, man. So once upon a time, not long ago, I realized that y'all trying to look ugly. Okay, I don't know how else to even put it, man. So it's mostly like an aesthetic. So what I'm representing is the 2017 to 2019 era when like there was so many trends I saw online that were like ugly, like the whole like bleaching of the eyebrows, like these kind of looks you would see maybe in like high art or high fashion type of ads, not something that would actually look cool in real life. The one I hated the most, I hated the little tiny sunglasses. I hated that shit. Okay, and not only that, that was the era of like of of trends not being regulated. So there's no one to stop that 340-pound girl from putting on that midriff. All right, and it's nothing that needs to happen, and this is why I need to be in politics. You understand? Because if I'm in politics, you're gonna have to have certain regulations to be wearing certain sizes. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have your size on your license. When after I pass my legislation, you have to have your size on your license, man. When you go into a store, you're not going to be able to purchase certain sizes without showing your license. Okay, because if we had that going on, it's a lot of travesties we wouldn't have to see. But going back to that era, that was the era when you start seeing more and more like influences. You got to realize the way that things are presented and the context that things are given gives can give something a whole new life. So, for example, right, rather than say whore or say streetwalker or say prostitute or whatever, right? Saying sex worker gives it a whole different perspective. That makes the shit sound respectable. That makes the shit sound like there might be some taxes paid. That makes sound like there might be a promotion. All right, when you phrase it that way, you know, rather than saying brothel or whatnot, but in calling everything a space, you know, I remember this girl, and this is what I also think about when it comes to this era. She's like a comedian slash dominatrix slash I guess she sells some pussy. I don't know, but she never had money. She always struggling and got some kind of sad story of like, you know, you about to move out of this roommate situation, just like struggling in New York. I'm like, God damn, it more probably will solve all your problems is like not living in New York anymore and living in New Jersey and just taking a train over there if you need to be in New York. But I feel like people be trying to make a point about living in New York, yo. Like they will not give up. They will not give up on New York. Listen, if black women believed in relationships like I do, like the idea of being in New York, we could really make it. Like we could really make some things shake out here. Like you and me, baby. You understand? So anywho, so that was that era. And actually, Sydney Watson made a video, and I think we should look at that for a quick second, and before we get to all these clips and everything. I'm not going to address Anthony Fantana right now. I'll do it in a different video because what I wanted to link together was pretty much like he's a part of the whole movement of people who are undesirable, unattractive, and would kind of be useless without the internet. And no diss to him, I'm just saying like he's not like a masculine guy, doesn't come across as likable. Again, like the people had the kind of personalities where if they weren't doing the thing they're famous for, they will be just this pretentious person you know in your life. Like, could you imagine having to deal with DMX at the post office and whatnot? Man, listen, that would be the most exciting time of your day. Hey yo, hey yo, bitch, you got a million PO box. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. So let's go check out the video, y'all. So before we get into this, right? Because I'm gonna play the clip from the girl. That was she didn't really get slammed, but basically there was a black girl in this American Eagle ad, and she's being used as the example of pretty much how. So what we gotta understand is that people who are left thinking, left leaning, and shit like that, y'all have an issue with understanding how you actually look. And a part of what's keeping you from understanding that is having a mindset. Again, it's the victim mindset. The victim mindset turns people into absolute narcissists. Okay, I think so. For men, it may be confusing as to why women don't hold back on how bad they're doing or how bad the situation is because they know that because they know inherently no matter what like women again, that's a privilege women have. Women can tell you about how broke they are. They can tell you about their problems and whatnot, and you're not going to really change your mind about them, especially if you really like them, right? Whereas it's not really the same for for men, and I think just over time, what we kind of did was create a world or kind of get comfortable in a world where we no longer just really have any have any real standards and like it's like nothing to like really look forward to, right? And again, so with the victim mindset, right? Meaning that, so for example, let's just say with black folks and the obsession is because racism has turned into an obsession you have, and everything has becomes racist. And I think black men don't realize this is female leadership. This is the kind of things that doesn't really move the needle. This is kind of bitching and complaining. This isn't really making anything shake. When we start, so for example, right, beauty standards, and I was thinking about in the car, I'm like, damn, how can I really come at this episode? Because I mean, because there's a lot of things we can get into, but a part of that whole era was basically saying nothing has to actually be good, or basically anyone can be anything at any time. This person in the wheelchair can be a sex symbol. This person who has one leg can be a sex symbol, and we should have them in ads. The reality is this: you can't have unattractive people model your stuff. That's bad business. It's just not how it works. That's the same as the you know the NBA just having a program where you just let dudes from the block just get on up there. I mean, just go ahead to your local hood and find a dude on the court and just bring them on in. No, that's not how this works. All right, you know what I'm saying? That's not how any of this works. You understand? Anyway, so I want to go ahead and play some of this video. I've been trying to get into this topic for a week with this whole Sydney Sweeney thing, and we're eventually going to get there. I just want to make sure that we have a complete understanding of like how we got here, like what's going on, and like it's like what it means. I mean, because honestly, this is also you can also kind of compare and contrast. Or I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry. You can correlate this to like why women like really ain't shit. If you think about it, right, in terms of like being like impressive, in terms of like the things that made women impressive in the past and made men impressive, like no, like men still do these things. Men still lift weights to get strong. Actually, no, nigga, you know, if your man works out, he is probably strong, way stronger than your grandfather was. First of all, the men of today are way richer than your grandfather. We make way more money and pay for way more shit than your grandfather paid. Your grandfather had to pay for no goddamn Wi-Fi. Your grandfather didn't have to pay for no one talking about they going to Tulum. Black folks didn't go to Jamaica back then unless you was from Jamaica. I'm saying black folks didn't know what Jamaica was. Like 40, 50 years ago. I mean, like, Negroes over here, not people in Jamaica, obviously. You know what I'm saying? I'm not using my soundboard.
Your body. If you love me, let me get your body.
Yeah. I use my soundboard. I feel like my show be empty if I don't use it. You know what I'm saying? But, hold on.
Good bitch, you've had your surgery.
We're good to go.
We are good to go. All right. So we're actually going to do it now. We're going to do the thing now. And, yeah, so let's go here. Let's go, Fuki.
Fat and very sexy.
So, your child has come out to you.
Like, niggas like that.
And I identify as non-binary.
I am still not certain what to make of this. Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. So before we do this, before we do the meat and potatoes, two very important things. Number one, new tea is here. It's finally in stock. So I have been packing and shipping the orders. Once again, on a serious note, thank you guys so much for being patient. I know that these pre-sale times are very long, but I am so excited for you to try the new tea. I think you'll really like it, and if you don't, I'll force you. But number two, and more importantly, your girl, your hell gondola director, stick wielder, your girl is going on tour in October. So in a couple months, there will be 9 shows, which means that we can all meet and gather together on our hell gondola, and you're gonna.
She's not coming to my hood, son.
Wondering, Sydney, what precisely are you gonna do that?
My bad, yo. I zoned out because I'm. My bad. Let's just move forward, okay? All right.
So will 100% go in of my little, not a code, in response to a new picture
said this on Instagram not too long ago, but there was this weird trend where people, mainly celebrities, were uglying, that's very hard to say, uglying themselves, embracing gender dysphoria, and just
Mm-hmm.
overall promoting mental illness slash an unhealthy lifestyle. It was roughly between the years 2016 to 2023. Something
Yep.
shifted at the end of 2023, and it suddenly became cool to be normal and hot again. Demi Lovato is the poster child of this phenomenon. She is indeed. Can't even remember to use her own they them pronouns.
Yep.
Ironic.
Still mess up sometimes and, say, oh, I can't wait to be an aunt one day. I'm like, wait.
But the reason seeing this post was so funny to me is because ages ago I had actually partially written a video asking why absolutely everything and everyone was so ugly. Modernity, Sydney. It's because of modernity. This was apparently the same idea that a lot of other YouTubers and journalists had as well, spanning multiple social and cultural ideas, with some commenting on
Not woke
how
glowdowns.
fashion entertainment are both soulless and bland, how modern fashion is hideous, and the general
Yeah.
unattractiveness associated with wokeism.
Why is everything so ugly? Why is everywhere we go, all of our stores, our advertisements, like everything that we interact with as people in the outside world, our TV, our music, why is it all so ugly?
Because, as we've all learned over the last number of years, there is a reason why the blue-haired feminist stereotype persists, and we can all identify who is a they/them based on appearance alone.
Facts.
Like lying to the world about it.
Like shit like this. Shit like this. Like stuff like this. This is what you would see online, and this person would have 100,000 likes. Okay, this person would have mad followers. You want you like, oh, who is this? But what it really comes from, I think a part of it too. I'm gonna talk that for a quick second. A big part of where this stuff comes from is, I guess you could say, leftist propaganda on TV, and there's certain ideas that are perpetuated. And one idea in particular, oh god, here we go, goddamn internet. All right, relax, internet. My internet be letting me know, hey, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. We're gonna ruin your show. But anyway, I guess we can call it the participation trophy mindset. But modern women, you know what? That's a good metaphor. Modern women want a participation trophy mindset when it comes to having a great outcome, right? But we also deal with a lot of things that pretty much add to people never growing up, people never actually looking at themselves, and that's why moments like the Kevin Samuels viral moment, when he said to the lady, "You're average at best," that was like a controversial statement. And it was controversial because of where we were politically. Now the girl he was talking to, he said this to her because she said to him, "I couldn't see myself respecting or being submissive to a man that made less than 100K a year." Right? And that was just a breaking point for all black men and people needing to speak up and start having a conversation about, okay, what's actually keeping black women from getting into relationships? Because again, black women and black people in particular tend to be very left leaning, very leftist, and just this. And what that really mostly means, especially for the men, is you were easily convinced, you were easily turned around, you were easily changed. Pretty much anyone can come with a new idea, and you're going to just go with it and say, well, because again, what leftism does to men is make men think that they need to be always keeping their minds wide open for anything. You know what I mean? So it's like, so we go from, hey, this dude likes dudes, and you say, okay, all right, that's a different lifestyle. Then it gets to, all right, now we're going to do this, and that's kind of what keeps going on. And then we go all the way to, the Wade family. You know what I'm saying? And like, yo, and Dwayne Wade's son turning himself into a bad bitch. You know what I'm saying? And this situation, again, it really exemplifies like what is going on with the African American male. Because this was probably just a gay kid, but because of the era he grew up in and the things he heard and what he thinks is important, he has come to the conclusion that I am a female. First and foremost, we gotta keep it a buck, man. Yo, these people are not normal. A lot of times, if that person honestly thinks that they're a whole different gender than what they appear to be, that's not something. And again, but all these things had to happen. We had to break down every norm to the point where we have a group of people in society who are in the middle or unsure, or maybe not so much now, but for a minute, that was also the era of, what bathroom should these men who say that they're women be using? And not only that, these men wanting to use the bathroom rather than saying, "Hey, listen, I feel as though I'm a girl and everything, and I'm gonna wear this dress and this wig. I cool, right? Cool, fine. Does not mean you have the right to go into the women's bathroom. This was a whole conversation for a very small group of people. But the reason why it's an issue because it means so much because again, it's the opposite of order. And what it does is it ruins the trajectory of mankind. When we embrace people who are weird, people who don't contribute, people don't realize trans people and most queer people are not looking to add to society. What they're looking for is in terms of pretty much attention, and they're trying to figure themselves out. And I think that when it comes to a group of people being marginalized and them escaping that marginalization and whatnot, people base it off the Black Civil Rights Movement and not understanding that our situation is totally different. Black men have always contributed greatly to American society. We fought in every single war, all right, between our inventions, entertainment, different jobs, just different things in general, on top of civil rights, the abolitionist movement, the Underground Railroad, the Civil War, just everything. You know what I mean? And to this day, there are more black millionaires than ever before. All right. So that's definitely saying something. But people always kind of base it off of that. And we got to where we create this culture, especially for pretty much people who are queer, people who are poor, and for women. That for the most part, it ain't your fault that you ain't shit. Like the fact that you ain't shit has nothing to do with your actions. It has nothing to do with your morals. It's just pretty much life is just happening to you. And it's that main character syndrome I have where again like people have gotten to where they don't realize you see life as if you were in the TV show and you're not in the TV show. Shit's actually happening. Also, during this time, what started happening was self-awareness in the groups that I mentioned, especially like poor black people, because over time I'm coming to really realize that there was a whole mindset, there was a whole gap when it comes to how people who are really broken, how they think and what they can be convinced of, what they can be told, you know what I mean? And how people behave, how people see things, and how they process things when they have their life together. Depending, no matter how that may look, it might just mean you're doing very well, you make a lot of money, or it could just mean that hey, you're able to take care of yourself, right? But the further that you are into poverty, the closer that you are to, for the most part, being the kind of person who's not able to solve their own problems, being the kind of person who's not able to see the error in their ways. Okay, and again, what that leads to eventually is messing the whole trajectory up. So now our trajectory is way off. So we're gonna watch a little more of this. Then we're gonna go into what we was looking at yesterday with that big girl.
Like who I am. And the temper tantrums. And screaming. Not too long ago, I even remember watching the Irish and
People like this, you have to see more dudes like this. And trust me, this guy's definitely a feminist.
trend for the Eurovision Song Contest and thinking, how did we end up here, where this type of thing has become culturally normalized? People are clapping? Do you know what makes me special? I'm a queer. And I'm a You are not queer. You are a straight person trying to be interesting. Anyway, the
Facts.
last decade or so has honestly been all about representation and diversity and body positivity and recently gender fluidity, giving us, I would argue, one of the ugliest periods in history. With all of this
And everything that she just mentioned, gender fluidity, diversity, and inclusivity for the most part means that it basically means pro queer. It doesn't mean so. You would think when you hear inclusivity, that means that everyone's included. No, it means pro queer, and also it disrupts the whole hierarchy when it comes to social status. And obviously, so normally these people would be in the margins of societies. People would, would be, well, for the most part, no, I won't say that. Normally, these people would have very strong limits to what they could become, especially if you're a trans person. And I think for the most part, we got to where I think queer people kind of expose that. Even though it's become illegal to discriminate against queer people, you'll find queer people in the most crazy situations. A lot of times, they're not able to really, especially what I see in the hood. In particular, Stud Keisha. Stud Keisha always going through it. Okay, Stud Keisha always got some shit going on, man. Let me see if I can find that video with Stud Keisha real quick, man. Cause like listen, I saw this yesterday, and it really touched my heart, man. Super nigga, who is super nigga? Hold on, yo. Let me find that video for y'all real quick, man, before we move on, man. I know I thought we're never going to get through this whole video. Man, I'm trying to give y'all the City Sweeney shit for like a year, but I saw this video yesterday, man. Of this traffic stop, man, I really felt for these people, man.
We didn't do anything.
So we got actually I had listened to this. I never actually saw how she looked. Yo, I swear, like listen, black girls with glasses, like especially like studs with glasses are so mad and so it's been like fat studs. They always got dreads. I feel like studs always got dreads. But anywho, yeah, like fat studs and studs with glasses always be the most angry.
Yo, we're detained for hard. Like that's there. Why you not talking to them? They over there smoking. Smoke. I don't smoke. Dude, what is going on?
These people are sitting in the car, right? I forget how they call someone attention to themselves. But they're in the car, the cops pull up and everything, and they're talking. And mind you, she's the one that's driving. The girl really doesn't really have to talk at this point. She turns this whole thing into like a whole issue. But I just want you guys to see the struggles of Stuck Keisha.
We just came from the store and bought you. I just lost my job today. You don't smell anything. So can you?
So they're telling them the reason why it's also going further is because they came to the car, something like weed. They're obviously in a state where weed's not legal, right? Rather than just cooperating and whatnot, the Stud Keisha from the right side of the car is basically she told the cops, "You don't smell nothing," and that's her way. And she gonna say, "I lost my job today." Again, you see what I'm talking about? In her mind, trying to slip into the victim mindset, because again, the reason why they go straight to that, because when they get into the victim mindset, they know that it gives them automatic privilege. The person cannot challenge them as much or question them as much, because I've already told you I'm going through something right now. So you already know off rip that if I'm starting off like this, you can't be, don't hold me too accountable. Don't confront me. Don't come at me, because I'm in a, basically the person said I'm in a sensitive space, and I can't be held accountable for how I'm going to react. So from the rip, you seeing how she acting towards these cops, and she's already kind of building in the excuse of, I'm wilding out because I lost my job, not because this is who I am. I'm gonna play this for a quick second, and then we're gonna hop out of this.
Please leave from our building. We really don't. We don't have anything. And the car is not on, so you cannot say it's no smoke. I don't smoke. I don't know what you're talking about. You don't smell anything. I smell you. I smell you. Can you please leave from our car? Because I'm going through a lot right now. You coming here bothering me, bro. So please just move. They're also sitting. Like they sitting over there. Why you not talking to them? They over there smoking and everything. That's probably where you smell weed at. And you coming over here to our car. Like, that's illegal. You can't just come out to people's car. And I'm finna go in Wawa and ask them, did you get a call? Because you're lying. And you can't tell me to get out my car, because this is my car and it's not on, and you are bothering me. But you are very wrong to do that. Like, come on, I'm having a fucking shitty day. I lost my job today. I lost my job.
She's running what?
Really quit this.
So, mad things going on in this video right here. We're gonna X out here real quick. Go back to it. Mad things going on. So you heard what I mentioned. So these are our products of this whole era. So you saw that privilege, right? In her mind, listen, in her mind processor, she said, "Listen, I'm gonna just tell the cops to fuck off." Okay, and once I say tell them what I'm going through and whatnot, they're going to just leave. So for one, another thing too is comprehension. I love these body cam videos because I want to show black people, okay, because black folks again we have a strong romanticism with the bottom of our culture. Those of us who are at the very bottom, we glorify them, we imitate them. And hip hop has always made this more of a thing, and maybe it was always going on, but hip hop has always put this pressure on black folks to be a little trashy, all right, to be a little shitty, you know what I'm saying? And it's evolved to where like, yo, now we have no morals. I heard Angry Man make this point about black folks don't realize that you live off of the backs and the shoulders of the people who came before you. The people in the '60s, they had the moral high ground. They can make an argument about, yo, that's racist or that's unfair or you're bigoted and this and that. Whereas now, black folks really can't talk ish to no one about any kind of bad behavior. Period. Our behavior is shitty. The way we treat each other, shitty. Okay, no accountability, no real love, no loyalty. Even in the Drake and Kendrick beef, right? It got to where, and again, and the best way to put it is, somebody wrote on Twitter that Kendrick is leading a generation in hate because he has not taken any responsibility in speaking on, hey, listen, it's hip hop. It's not. I don't hate this dude. I don't have no real problem with this dude. It's just competition. He has been silent and has tried for the most part, really just been doing some whole shit. And no one has said anything. And one of the reasons why is because again, in modern culture, we do this thing where everything is upside down, and a part of it is, oh, if someone's a winner, if someone's attractive, and that gets us to this whole body positive thing. This is all pretty much these are all art. These are, how can you say can you say arson? What's that word? Not arsonist. What's that word when people anarchists. These are all like forms of social anarchy. Cause these are all rebellion movements. Okay, body positivity for the most part became the label for fat women who said, "Fuck that, I'm not going to do better." There's nothing positive about gaining weight and being too big to fit into your clothes and be comfortable. Nothing positive about not being able to tie your shoe. I remember being so big that like I used to get uncomfortable, or I used to loathe having to get down to tie my shoe. It was like recently that I realized, yo, I can actually I can touch my toes. Pause.
You don't even do nothing. I want your body. If you love me, let me get your body.
You know what I'm saying? See your shirt right here? In 2020, in 2019, I was so big that I actually could. I see all this shirt. See all this room in this shirt. All right, see, I can pull. Look at this. See this? I was so big at one point that I couldn't close this shirt. If I try to close this shirt and sit down, right, the shirt would stretch. All right. My arms are still big as hell in this, but my arm. We know what happened. What happened? You would see all this fat right around here. Was nothing cute about that. And at that time, this is, I mean, like I wore this from time to time. This is always my marker of how much weight I lost. But there was a time where I couldn't close this shirt. Even the white shirt I had on yesterday, right? You'll see a video of me wearing this white shirt. There was a time where I was so big. I had bought that shirt and I figured, oh yeah, it's a 2X. I see what the weight is. And this is 2020, the summer 2020. I'm at the park with my son, and I put that joint on, and it was so tight I couldn't even button it. I couldn't even button. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, I struggled to get out the shirt Cause I was trying to wear it open and everything. You know what I'm saying? It was like a similar shirt like this, but it was like all white. It was from Target. Now don't get me wrong, it was slim fit and everything, but I wore it yesterday. My arms fitting them shits like perfectly. But like yo, I lost like 50 pounds, right? And I gotta lose another 50 pounds. Cause I had to realize like yo, why are you comfortable with having a belly? Why are you comfortable like why you have man boobs? And I've always kind of had them, you know what I mean? So I can't. And I'm like, damn, I've never even thought about not having any kind of fat in my chest, not having a stomach at all, right? And I mean, and I bring these things up because a mindset comes with that, right? Going back to the whole image thing, one of the things that changed my mind was I watched a show called From Fit to Fat to Fit, where these trainers with amazing bodies would gain weight with their client and lose the weight with them. For some of them, mentally they couldn't take it. And I won't get too deep into like the microbiome, but basically what happened with those people was their microbiome got all fucked up. The microbiome is your second brain. It's your gut. So people understand gut health more than they ever did. You know what I mean? But it's your second brain. Your gut health can dictate brain fog, inflammation, weight loss, hormones, just everything. But most importantly, your mood and just overall how you think. So when these people went through that, they went through the depression. Also, they went through seeing their bodies change and seeing all their hard work go to naught, right? But when I would see their starting weight and what they start out at, I'm like, damn, most of these people, the guys that are in shape, they're all well below 200 pounds, or they're around 200 pounds. I'm like, bro, you're 300 pounds, and then logic started kicking in that. All right, so let's just start with 20 pounds. Let's start with 30 pounds. And there was a point where 270 was a goal weight for me, and it was a very ambitious goal weight for me, which is crazy now. I'm like, I remember I was looking at a video of myself in 2022, towards the end of 2022. That's when I had lost weight. I actually had lost a significant amount of weight, and even looking at those videos, I'm like, yo, I'm more lean now than I was at that point. But the revelation I came to was you was thinking like a fat nigga. When you think like a fat person, you get that way from low self awareness, and this is why all this shit is dangerous, man. So hold on, y'all. I wanted to matter of fact, we're gonna just react to the video that my girl got, man, right here. But okay, maybe not. You know what? Cause I had this thing in theater mode, guys. Give me 1 second. Cause I have it in theater mode. So I wanted to play this video. So you know what? Let's just do this real quick. Cause I want to make sure you guys see the ad before I go any further. There we go. Cause I just want to make sure you guys see the ad.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans, but I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn, or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney, Hasbury King.
You see what I did there, right?
So this now there's more than one commercial, but that's pretty much the whole shtick, right? Is that Sydney Sweeney has great jeans, and this has sparked it's not even a debate. It's pretty much just it's certain people and a lot of women fighting the end of this era. This era is over. Let it go. This has to stop. We are in survival mode. Listen, eggs was like $10 the other day. What the hell is going on? Eggs supposed to be like the cheapest food. Not only that, white eggs. White eggs was 10 because some shit was going on with the bird flu, with the swine flu. Eggs were $10. Not a game out here, man. Okay? It's not a game. It's not a game.
I want your body. If you love me, let me get your body.
So that sets us up, you know what I mean, for this, this clip I played yesterday, man. I'm gonna play it one more time, okay? So this girl was brought up in this video with this black woman was saying that the left hate black women, right? And they were talking about, well, she was talking about how, within the same company, right? Let me see, where is it? Oh, here we go. Boom.
campaigns that were geared towards plus size, that were geared towards black women, which was outrageous because the actual picture that they used for black women was 290 pounds in purple hair. Like, that's what it was used for. Like I tell you all the time, liberal whites are racist, okay? Because they could have just used a regular, everyday, average black woman, but they didn't.
So I actually didn't realize that this was posted by the actual model. Now again, like I said, in my other video, I don't think she's ugly at all. Obviously, maybe she's not 290 pounds, but listen, I don't know. But so she has decorated this video, right? So and this right here, this really encapsulates how black women have kind of hinged on to this movement, and a lot of women, again, now she's someone who's not experiencing, how can I say, she is someone who has a good shape, so her being a plus size girl is not damaging to her. Like she can wear that weight, and a lot of guys would think she's attractive because she's not fat as fuck. She seems to be curvy and everything, but she still is very much overweight, right? But let's go ahead and read a few things that she chose to write on the video. So this is her reaction and everything. So she's posted, well, under there it says, my hairstyle is royal, ma'am. I'm not Holly to not be average. You know what? Maybe I can't. Okay, whatever. Um, so she says, my name is Sanaya, and she also writes, here's another one. I pray you heal thyself, versus shaming other black women. Sounds like you're hating. So let me go ahead and just address that right there. So again, African American people are largely leftist and liberal, when it comes to their views and whatnot. And a part of those views is, for the most part, black women do not have to be amazing. Black women do not have to be nice. They do not have to be hardworking. They do not have to be. They don't have to be actual great mothers. They don't have to be great wives. They can just exist. Don't get me wrong. uh, Females are human beings. Women can kind of just be and be great. But we got to where we've taken all the work away, right? So this girl in particular, she's a plus size model. In her mind, she is so deep into the indoctrination that she doesn't realize that as a model, you put yourself out there on the main stage, and you chose to put yourself out there as an overweight model, right? That's not a standard. Like, you cannot say that, because the thing about being great on any level is that it takes so much more work and effort than what other people are putting in. And when you say you're a plus size model, right, and you show up in the world like this, what you're saying is, I want to be a model. I want to be on the same level as this girl right here, as Sydney Sweeney, right? I want to be on her level, all while not doing shit for it. You won't even eat less food for a profession that's based off of how you look. You won't even make that sacrifice, right? Also, so the woman also referenced, basically, this is what they think that black folks look like. This is what they think black folks want, bro. And actually, they're not wrong, because again, they say that almost a majority of black women are overweight at this point. Listen, there's an obesity crisis in America to begin with. I'm not saying that we all not fat, myself included, but according to the numbers, our women are overweight at a clip of 80%. So only maybe 20% of black women have nice tight bodies. You understand? So, and we got to also ask ourselves, how do we get here? And we got to recognize that, this is a loser mindset. And what we also seeing is the loser mindset is dying out. Okay, this is going to be the last of it, because more and more, like, even this right here, right? So even when she says shaming other black women, you're being black. Listen, what she's basically doing is saying is that black women are inherently victims. We're always the victim. People always messing with us. When I tell you, the victim mindset, that's a form of manipulation. It's a form of being a narc, because what that person is doing is they're configuring, they're doing this feng shui shit where they're taking the room that you're in and rearranging things to look a certain kind of way, right? And what they do with you is they put themselves beyond reproach, and they keep you from critiquing, and also they basically have a reason for wild. If they wild out, they have a reason for wild out. You know what I mean? So that's what they do all in one breath, right? Also, she said, sounds like you're hating. The fact that this girl is overweight, there are women in the world who have way better bodies than you, and you think that someone's hating on you for being overweight. Let's go ahead and take a quick look. Now again, I think she's a pretty big girl and whatnot. I think she has like a nice, like curvy big girl figure and everything. But again, she thinks that someone's hating. You know what I mean? So I guess the purple thing is the purple hair thing is her thing. And again, so she's definitely a very liberal person. So she has completely bought into, rather than being the best version of myself or being as in shape as I can while being curvy, you just said, fuck it, I'm gonna eat whatever the fuck I want to eat. Okay, I'm gonna dress how I want to dress, and this is gonna be somebody that, you're never really gonna get to the next level. And another thing too is like, Lizzo is also responsible for this shit because Lizzo was a real agent of fucking chaos, and it was crazy is somehow Lizzo has gotten wrapped up into this whole debacle here. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and look at these clips I have for this whole thing here. Hold on, y'all. Because somehow Lizzo got pulled into it. But people seeing Lizzo, right? Seeing her be an artist, that was really just, again, she was an industry plant, man. That wasn't a natural thing. People were being told to like Lizzo. People would be, and I mean, she was being kind of like really forced on you, right? And I always felt like, Lizzo wasn't even like the kind of big girl that had a nice body. Now her body looks way better now. You know what I'm saying? Her shape, she has way more of a shape now. Actually, she looks really happy. She looks so happy. She looks so happy that she looks better. And listen, I give her props. You know what I'm saying? That now she has moved into regular size big girl. She loses about 30, 40 more pounds. You know what I mean? She will be back. She will be at normal status. But let's go ahead and look at her involvement here so far.
Agenda. We're over the Lizzo. We're over the Dylan Mulvaney's. If this was a 300-pound non-binary person, they would be applauding her.
Yeah.
So I ain't trying to get a copyright claim and whatnot. So, Lizzo found some big jeans and whatnot. And listen, we gotta talk about this blonde hair, okay? And actually the track she put, listen, the booty look way better. She be doing her squats. Lizzo has never had a shape ever, okay? Ever. Do you understand? But the blonde hair. So, Pierce Morgan actually made a really funny joke on Twitter. He says, Pierce Morgan accuses Beyonce of cultural appropriation for the Levi's campaign. Very disappointed to see Beyonce culturally appropriate Marilyn Monroe in her new Levi's ad. So apparently Beyonce has a new ad, right? So one of the points that Sydney Watson made, that's the girl video that we played earlier, right? She made a point about how it's become culturally appropriate to basically like do this, have a racist mindset towards white folks, and it's gotten to where white people cannot even basically like the way they look. And it's gotten to a point where the reason why I showed you the City Sweeney commercial was because you have leftist people trying to say that's a eugenics commercial. That eugenics meaning you believe that a certain population or group of people needs to not exist anymore, or certain genes need to be bred out, or certain kinds of people need to be eliminated. That's what eugenics means, right? And some people say that this is a Nazi whistle. Basically, this is some Nazi stuff. This is some racist but what it really is the ugly white girls hating on the cute white girl. That's what it's really about, right? Because we got to where white people can't even be happy or can't celebrate their own culture. And it's like, fam, we're getting to where we're not being fair. But what that really is, it's a loser mindset. And loser mindset, with the way that a loser deals with a winner is they discredit. What I tell y'all, most of those attacks are going to be non-physical. So what they'll do is discredit that winner. They'll either make up something about them that's not true. They'll assume bad things about them. Whatever it is, but that it always kind of goes to that with losers, right? So which is so in this situation, rather than just people just looking at the commercial and saying, "Oh, it's a cute commercial," and the thing is, whoever put it together, they were genius because they had to know that was gonna go viral because they knew that it was rage bait for leftist ugly people. Because for the most part, the reason why I keep saying ugly is because when you don't put any effort into how you look, you become ugly. That's what that would be. That's what that would be. But back to this blonde hair, right? We have to address this shit. Now, I mean, I don't mind the aesthetic, but I have to touch on like what it means in the whole double standard, right? Especially with black folks. And this is a conversation that a lot of black men they need to hear because what you're really looking at is proof of where black women's priorities are at in terms of who they dress for, what the the victim mindset that black women have is largely based off of the idea that black women have always had the hardest. They've always given the most, but gotten shortchanged. And you know what I'm saying? And Brad just say,
Your body. If you love me, let me get your body.
but when we see black women put that blonde hair on, right? And again, I don't mind it, but at the same time, it's like you know what that is very much a white girl thing. It's like you know why are you doing that? And now, mind this is not my original concept, but it's becoming abundantly clear, right, where your low self esteem come from, where the victim mindset. No, it come from you wanting Brad to be your man, you wanting that white man to be your man, right? So that's why you should. And again, I never thought about that. That's why I started straightening out hair so you can have hair like Becky. You know what I mean? And then we started getting up. Now we doing the blonde hair, the bleach. Fam, that's bleach blonde. That's not even mixed in with other shit. That's Marilyn Monroe blonde. You know what I mean? And again, don't mind looking at it, but at the same time, it is peculiar, and we gotta call that shit out. You know what I mean? And Paris Morgan, that was a bar. I like that one. All right. What else we got here? Trump has something to say about this.
That who was? She's a registered Republican? Oh, now I love her ad. Is that right? Is Sydney Sweeney? You'd be surprised at how many people are Republicans. That's what I wouldn't have known, but I'm glad you told me that. If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic. Okay.
Yo, you a funny nigga, man. Anyway, so all right. I'm gonna make this point, and that's gonna be like part one for today. Let's talk about the subject, right? So even with that, right, and it's something that I think people who left this have not made room for. Is like, yo, you have become a group of people that's just mad unfair and just mad rude. So if it's even become controversial to say basically where your politics are. Because what we've done also is create basically a environment of no respect, where we don't have respect for anyone's beliefs, we don't have respect for people's culture. It's just, well, if you're not like me, if you don't behave like me, or you don't look like me, or well, not even that. If you don't have the same beliefs as me, you must be a bad person. And that was also something that was brought up, and it was mentioned in the Sydney Watson video about how throughout this whole controversy, there's been that's not breaking news. Her being Republican is not breaking news, and also why does it matter to you? That's the same as saying, "Oh, I'm gonna find out Saladin is Muslim." Is he a bad person for being a Muslim? But that's kind of where we've gotten to. Going back to the conversation I said about not uplifting certain people, because what you're basically doing is you're elevating the snakes of society. You're elevating the pieces of shit of society. Because you got to realize people who who have certain kinds of outcomes, they don't have them for no reason, and you should not elevate them until they've made those changes in their lives. Okay, and that's kind of what we've done. We've done this thing where we try to level the playing field and make everyone equal. And a part of that is, again, trying to make safe space again, the safe space shit, rather than safe spaces for the most part make it to where survival and fitness doesn't happen, and again, trajectory, momentum doesn't happen. Just like with music, right? Us having periods of music where bad music is being put out, there that means that the momentum is interrupted. So being as though there was nothing good that came out this year, again, the momentum is interrupted. Rather than when it's 1, 2, 3, 4 years in a row where people are putting out good music, or that artist, or that whatever's going on, right? So when we waste time, again, we never get a chance to find out where we could be. And that's another thing I think is damaging about this whole thing is, again, is the loser mindset. I don't want to be better. I don't want to improve. All right. I want you to be attracted to me as I am with the FUBA. Anyway, that's an hour, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and be out of here. Subscribe to the channel. Peace.